Hi, my name is Warwick Davies, and I am the principal of the Event Mechanic. Welcome to Activate. My presentation today is how to build event marketing superpowers and keep your job given AI technology and the general turbulence that you're experiencing right now. Let's get started. Your job as an event marketer is one of the most crucial positions in the entire organization. If you've never been told that, here I'm the first to tell you. And it's never been harder. You've got fierce competition, high expectations, both from your customers and your bosses and your organizations. So to be able to cope with this, you've got to start to think about becoming more strategic and more of an event strategist. This presentation is going to help you figure out how to do that using technology and learning more about your customers. Session objectives. One is to understand the context of your work and its critical importance. Do you know why you're doing what you're doing? If you don't, you need to start with that. It's not just a series of actions on a project chart, which is your job. Your job's much more important than that. And you need to understand how you can leverage that to both enhance your career and make your events better. Next, understand the wants and needs of your attendees and exhibitors, not just from looking at a spreadsheet or sitting from behind a computer screen, but actually going to get personal with those customers and prospects. Given that information, you're going to start to develop a strategy that effectively communicates and engages your audiences. And you could do much or all of this with using technology and AI. If you're an event marketer, you probably have an audience-centric strategy, which includes developing personas or archetypes of the customers and attendees you most want to come to your events and building upon them to make them real. So you actually feel like you're talking or messaging or marketing to a specific person. Obviously, personalizing the messaging that you do once you have those personas is important, as is segmenting your marketing strategy to make sure that you're focusing on what those specific people need and not just doing an all-in strategy where you're pressing a button and sending millions of emails that are the same to everyone. All of the things that I've just mentioned can be done with AI. And again, I'm going to give you some specifics on that. But first, and potentially more importantly, if you don't know your audiences personally, then you need to start there. Maybe you understand what you're doing, but you don't know your audiences personally. When you're at one of your shows, take some time to go and introduce yourself to some of the attendees there and get to know why they're there, a little bit about them, what they like, what they don't like, and commit yourself to talking to at least 10 attendees every month when you get back to your desk, the office. The same way, start to figure out how to be on sales calls with exhibitors because you're actually producing the types of leads and future customers that they're looking to get when they're attending, they're exhibiting and sponsoring your show. So it behooves you to know who those targets that they have are and start to think how you can start at putting them into your marketing planning. Once you have that information, you have a visceral understanding of your audiences, make sure you put that into your marketing plans, that feedback. The goal is to have a personal understanding of who you are marketing to, not only doing what the project chart says, but you actually understand from a personal level on what your audiences expect. Of course, you're going to want to have some data-driven strategy and tactics behind that, setting measurements and KPIs, tracking how you're doing versus those measurement sticks, whatever they are. And then at the end of the cycle, understanding whether it was worth it to take the actions that you did and changing your future planning based on how you did in terms of cost per action, cost per lead, revenue per lead or action, to give you some ideas there. Within AI tools, you can also use LLMs and AI tools to go into your database and actually extract patterns of things that you wouldn't be able to see manually because you probably have hundreds of thousands of contacts in your databases. Some particular specific things you can do with the technology are automate your email sequences. deploy AI assistants, generate AI content, which you're probably already doing. You may or may not know that you can personalize that and set up a persona within your LLM to talk in your voice or your company's brand voice. And in other words, when you put in a prompt, it will answer it as if it's consistent with the rest of your messaging and branding. And then create video assets from either text, from newsletters or blogs, or sizzle reels. The reason I'm not putting specific tools for this is because you can actually go into ChatGPT or Copilot or Grok or Claude and ask it, what's the best way of automating an email sequence for my event, and put some more data in there, and it will tell you step by step how to do it. So I don't want to presuppose that you're using the tools that I use, but you can ask it yourself to figure this out. So superpower summary. How do you make yourself an event strategist? Get more knowledgeable about what you're doing. Get more personal with your attendees and exhibitors, and use that information to build much more strategic planning. You can do some of that, as I said, with AI and getting some insights from your data sets by prompting it the proper way. And I could tell you offline how to do that better if you want that information. But use AI and start to test and experiment with AI to see what it can do. You'll be very surprised. I actually made this presentation in 2 hours using AI, and I'm not a technical person. Just if you appreciate how good this presentation looks or actually is, I did it partly with AI. So, in short, I want to help you become event strategist through this presentation, and through, if you'd like to read some of my other articles, both on event strategy and marketing in general, please find me at theeventmechanic.com. But I hope that you will build and communicate your superpowers so that you also can become much more valuable to your companies, protect your job, and become an event strategist. Thanks very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of Activate.